I'm going inside. Whoever wants to see the other side of that rope, come on. I got 1, 2, 3. We're together.
Hand me, woman. I learned my lesson earlier.
Pray, let her in. But make her pay and don't validate her parking.
You. Come on in.
Excuse me, he was pointing at me. I believe he was pointing to me.
No, I'm sorry, she's right.
Was somebody talking to you, bitch?
Come on, Toni, come on.
You better be glad the girl stepped in and saved your bony ass. My ass is perfect, you bald-headed bitch.
Oh my God, my girls need my help! Joan, pull some hair or something! Oh, get your own! Oh, do something! Do something!
Y'all, why did Lynn, Toni, and Maya find themselves fist fighting in the gutter with other women outside of the club one night? These women are almost 30. I want to repeat, these women are almost 30. And they are fist fighting in the street. Now, I am not one for violence, although I do believe there are rare occasions where violence is absolutely the answer. And it just is what it is. I don't feel like this situation was one of them. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to Chats and Chill. I'm your host, Sharion Sade, and today we're going to be recapping and reviewing Girlfriends Season 1, Episode 3, Girlfrenzy. Now, I already know this might be where some of us meet a fork in the road, because I've shared some interesting opinions on this channel before, and we either agree or we don't agree. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's all good. I welcome all opinions. I just feel like there is a time for violence, and I just don't think this was the time for it. I am a firm supporter of I'll let the universe handle my light work, but I also let the universe handle my heavy work. And sometimes I give the universe a little help. And I just don't think this was one of those situations where it needed my help. So we're going to talk about this episode by recapping it, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. For those of you on Patreon, you have already seen my opinion because you watched me watch this live and react and comment in the moment. And I shared some interesting stories, including the time where I got physical with someone at a gym where I had a membership, and they got not only kicked out of that gym, but it led to legal issues for that person. Don't mess with me. I'm going to be giving a breakdown and my opinion at the end. But before we get to any of that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video. Hype, if you have some left over for the week, hype this video up, comment along the way, and please don't forget to subscribe and share.
Actually, she's one hell of a chicken. She just stood on the sidelines.
So did you. If you had just walked away like I was trying to do, none of this would have happened.
I'm your best friend and I was getting my ass kicked.
I am a grown woman and I don't get into street fights. And I'm an attorney. What if the police came? I could get disbarred. I'm free if you need a second chair.
Joan, I've seen your version of backup, but thanks anyway.
Technically, you didn't have my back either.
So you're mad at me too?
Well, I would be if you weren't putting a roof over my head and food on my plate and clothes on my back.
Was I so wrong not to jump into a smackdown on the corner of Rodeo and Wilshire?
We start this episode off with Toni waiting for Joan at Joan's house. And when Joan walks through the door with Lynn in tow, Toni descends upon her. Where have you been? Why are you so late? What have you been doing? And she's clearly been worried. We really don't see Toni spiral like this, so it kind of gives us a clue on just how tuned into Joan's life she is. Joan then reveals, I'm late because someone who was driving my car today got there late to pick me up. I promise y'all, I'm not trying to turn this into the I Hate Lynn channel, but Lynn is making it very hard for me to appreciate her as a character because she's so entitled and disrespectful to everyone else. She's so inconsiderate. And it's almost like she's so entitled and inconsiderate and disrespectful that I can't see anything else. And I love this character. I love that this character, excuse me, big tumbler. I love that this character is whimsical and fun and creative and marches to the beat of her own drum, and she's often very funny, and I like that she's just her own person and doing her own thing. And I like the free love message. I like everything about this character outside of the eclipsing entitlement that they built her with. Not only that, but if you wanted this to be a fun and fun-loving character, why did you make her such an asshole? Because I can't see any of the other benefits to this character when all I can see is her disrespect of the main character. And I can only think of, if this was my friend, I would have kicked her ass out a long time ago. But not only was she late picking up Joan, who was allowing her to drive her car, mind you, mostly Joan is taking care of this grown woman by letting her live in her house eat her food. She buys her clothes. When they go out, she pays for her food. And when she's at work, she lets Lynn drive her car. The way I would have unsubscribed from this friendship so fast, at some point it stops being I'm helping you out in a hard time or I'm helping you in a transitional space to I am now your mommy. As soon as you think it's bad enough, it gets worse.
I ran out of gas.
I had a full tank this morning.
Well, that was before I went to Tijuana and back.
Tijuana?
To pick up Pablo and Juan, prisoners of conscience. Viva la revolucion!
While I agree that Lynn loves helping people, and oftentimes we align on her liberal views, you're still committing crimes in someone else's car. Don't rope me into your bullshit, especially when I have a career in the legal field. The way me and Lynn would have had a problem. Toni gets really irritated by this. She's annoyed, but she kind of just pushes it away. But then she gives Joan a new pair of shoes. She's already wearing them, but she still gives her a new pair of shoes because she noticed that Joan saw them. This is what Toni does very well. She pays attention to Joan and she does pour into Joan. Although it's always on her time and in her way, she does show her appreciation for Joan in a way that I don't think the other ladies show. So I thought this was beautiful. Now, again, we would have never gotten to this point because the moment she showed utter disregard for me by sleeping with or dating someone that I had dated and then bringing them to my home, whether she had a revelation later or not, we would have never got to this point because I wouldn't have trusted her character from henceforth. But it's great to see that in this episode, it seems like it's a new day. We got over the hump some kind of way. So after this moment, we later see the women getting ready for a club night. And we see Lynn, she's all dolled up in a sequin tube top and a skirt that looks satin, maybe silk, but she's got a lot of pink tulle on it and she's wearing combat boots. We see Toni all dolled up and then we see Joan still kind of getting ready. I love that they showed Joan still in her socks, putting on earrings, looking for her purse, switching her purse over. Like that's what makes it feel more real is those moments because a lot of times they'll be like, we're headed out to the club. Let's go right now. They're already wearing their shoes, their purse is by the door. Yeah, right. And they just head straight out. They don't touch up their makeup. They don't rinse their mouth out or brush their teeth. Like they don't do anything. They just go. I love that they made it a little more realistic here. Toni is like, why aren't we leaving already? We need to go. And Joan is like, we got to wait on Maya. We hear Toni protest this. She says, when did our threesome become a foursome? Matter of fact, when did our twosome become a threesome? Referencing Lynn. And it's revealed that the way Toni passed a certain class in college was because Lynn was sleeping with her professor and got him to change Toni's grade. I don't know how true that is. I just know that's what they said and they laughed. Toni protests Maya joining their group. And Joan doesn't care for it. She keeps telling Toni like, hey, lay off Maya. Maya's a really cool person. She's really nice. You should be nicer to her. So when Maya gets there, they're all talking about Maya's outfit and she's wearing this beautiful Parisian wrap. And she's like, hey, I picked this up at a shop in Paris. And for some reason, Toni is like, you've never been to Paris. The only thing I kept thinking as Toni kept giving Maya a hard time was, baby, your ceiling is not her ceiling. She is not bound to the limitations of your assumptions and biases. She is a whole person outside of who you created in your mind. You're so concerned about limiting her and minimizing her that you don't even realize the void you're projecting is your own. You don't feel accomplished. You think because you've never been to Paris that she can't go to Paris. And she sat there and showed Toni up. And I loved it. She put it right back in her face. Now, what would have made me even happier is if she had said what she had to say and then paid Toni no mind. Show her how insignificant her opinion really is. People will get over being upset. People will get over arguing with you. People have a hard time getting over being embarrassed. Then I would have ignored everything she said after that point. She would not have been able to break the seal. You have to show people that the limitations of their world have no impact on you. And that would have ate her up more than going back and forth with her, because at least going back and forth with me gives me your energy. Because a lot of times all they want is your energy. They want that energetic exchange. I want to siphon your energy from you. I'm feeling low right now, which is the only reason anybody would ever try to humble another person is because they are already feeling very low. I wouldn't have given her the opportunity to absorb any of my energy. It's then that Joan goes over to Toni and is like, hey, knock it off. Stop bothering Maya. She's a nice person. Why are you doing this? And Toni is like, she is a liar. There's no way she's been to Paris. And Joan, instead of just simply saying, what is your deal? She validates this accusation with a real response by saying, well, she might have. Her husband works for the airline. Or, get this, she might have taken her money and paid to go. She might have gone on a family trip. You have no idea. She could have gone with other girlfriends. She could have gone on a whim. You wouldn't know because none of you know her like that. Why not get to know her instead of assuming you know her? Maya comes out of the kitchen and is like, y'all, we are all set up for the creep tonight. It's a club. We're all gonna have fun. It's where Easy Mo Chumpy got shot. We're gonna have a good time. Now, child, that would not have been the way to sell me. No. So Toni is like, I don't want to go to the creep. I want to go to Liquid City. That's like an elite place and it's where all the celebrities go. And so Joan is like, we're going to the creep. We already got in. Why are you acting like that? And so Toni was like, I don't want to go there. Maya goes, you know what? Fine. I can get us into Liquid City also. So let's just go to Liquid City. And so it's then that Toni just lashes out at Maya again. That jealousy is loud. And so it's then that Joan is like, you guys, we were already going to go to the creep. Let's just go to the creep. Let's just call it a day. And so Toni was like, I'm not going to the creep. I'm leaving. And she storms out. She throws a whole tantrum like a child. Y'all remember in episode 1 recap when I said Toni sees Joan as the mother she never had? Then she acts out so that Joan can take her side. She acts out to get Joan's attention. This is yet another example. Does this not sound like a little kid throwing a tantrum because I wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese? I didn't want to go there. This is all that is. She is a brat, a 30-year-old brat. And Joan is just like, whatever, y'all, let's go to the creep. And then Maya goes, no, I don't appreciate being called a liar. We're going to Liquid City. If I were Joan, I would have said, while I understand where you're coming from, Lynn, me and you are going to the creep. Y'all play whatever game y'all want to play. And I would have exited out of that. I do not do necessarily high stress situations. Just no, the way my anxiety is set up, all that back and forth, I would have said, somebody pick something right now, damn it, and shut up. Like, I can't stand when plans change last minute. It makes me crazy. I will legit not go. If you keep saying like, actually, why don't we go here? Matter of fact, let's go there. How about we do that? I don't care what the reason is. After 3 changes, I'm going to be like, you know what? My spirit is saying I don't need to go anywhere. Because I love using the services that I pay for. So I'm going to stream something, I'm going to cook something, and I will see you next week with a plan. I'm not going somewhere where the plans keep changing. That's how people get hurt. Anywho, we then catch up to Toni. She's at Liquid City and she tries to get in by herself. For some reason, this bouncer does not like her. I don't really understand it. They didn't really show what turned him off of Toni or like why he was so put off with Toni, but he did not like her. And when she walked up to him, he was just like, well, you're not getting in here, so you're gonna have to go somewhere else. And so she tries to like play it like flirty and he's just not interested. But then she runs into William. William tells her like, I have a rapport with this guy, so let's see if I can get you in. So he walks up and the guy's like, come on in. And he goes, okay, great, she's with me. And he goes, oh, well, never mind. Like, he just does not want Toni in this club. I wish that they had shown us why. I wish that they had started the episode with her like stealing his parking spot or something. That would have been so funny to me. That's when Lynn, Joan, and Maya walk up. And Toni's like, what are y'all doing here? They say, oh, well, we changed our minds. We want to go here too. And Toni goes, oh, it's dead in there. So Maya kind of makes fun of her and is like, oh, is it dead or you couldn't get in? And so she walks over to the bouncer. It's her cousin. And she gets all the women with William in with the exception of Toni. So Toni's like, Joan, get me in. William, get me in. And neither of them can. So then Joan is like, Maya, if you get her in, I will give you a half work day on Friday. I know that's right. Maya is so great at finagling her position to get all the perks. She's so good at it. And so Maya says, okay, fine. She gets Toni in. But when the bouncer calls for Toni to come over, this other heifer like is like, oh, he was talking to me. And she pushes Toni.
Hey, you. Come on in.
Excuse me, he was pointing at me. I believe he was pointing to me.
No, I'm sorry, she's right.
Was somebody talking to you, bitch? You better be glad the girl stepped in and saved your bony ass. My ass is perfect, you bald-headed bitch.
Oh, damn.
Oh, Joan, you must be a hell of a fighter because you don't have a scratch on you.
Actually, she's one hell of a chicken. She just stood on the sidelines.
So did you. What did you expect me to do? Just jump in and start swinging?
Nobody else had a problem with it. Hell, Maya even had my back and she hates me.
If you had just walked away like I was trying to do, none of this would have happened.
I'm your best friend and I was getting my ass kicked.
I am a grown woman and I don't get into street fights. And I'm an attorney. What if the police came? I could get disbarred.
And instead of them just walking out and letting that bird continue to squawk outside while they walk their pretty asses into the VIP or wherever else they went, they stay engaged with her. This is where the mistake happens. You should not have engaged her at all. Let that woman talk shit as you walk past the bouncer and he blocks her ass. Like, I don't understand why this is even a question. Let the universe handle your light work. Because if the bouncer pointed at me, I know this. When we both walk up, he will let her know that he was talking to me. I don't have to say a word. I can sit pretty and let that heifer be mad by herself. Why would I give her any of my peaceful energy? And why in the hell would I take her bitter energy with me into this club? Let them handle your light work. So instead of engaging her, I wouldn't have anything to prove. But this is the thing about Toni. She has something to prove to everyone because she's insecure. She has something to prove to Maya. She had something to prove to this woman. If she were secure within herself, she would have laughed at that woman and been like, oh girl, act like you've been somewhere, and walked in and let the bouncer say, hey, I wasn't talking to you. Move. Let the bouncer do the job he was paid to do. But no, she stays and she argues with her. That's when a fight breaks out. Several times, Joan tries to de-escalate and diffuse the situation. She says, Toni, come on. Let's go. We are already in. Let's go have fun. Toni walks off. The woman says something else. Toni turns around and is like, I'm tired of you women thinking because I'm pretty, I won't fight you.
Oh, I'm sorry, she's right.
Was somebody talking to you, bitch?
I was simply trying
Joan, don't back down to this heifer.
Leave it alone. Come on, let's go.
Please, I am tired of these women stepping to me ready to fight, thinking I'm gonna back down because I'm all cute. So what you got to say now?
Okay, everything's cool. It's cool. We're cool. I hope you're cool. Please be cool. Come on, Toni. Come on.
Do you see what happens when you live with a chip on your shoulder and you have something to prove? It makes it easy for people to bait you. Your triggers are a target for people looking to siphon your energy. This is why introspective work is so important. It's not for everybody else, although it does typically make you easier to be around in the world, and it makes it easier to maneuver the world from a secure place internally. But it's also for you, so that you don't walk around with a big target that says, this is how you can control me. This is how you can control my state of being. And this is how you can get me to act out of character. You want to know how to control me? Push this button. It triggers me and I become a whole different person. So if you're trying to siphon my energy, if you're trying to trick me out my spot, if you're trying to make me look bad, if you're trying to do whatever, here's how to go about it. Push the big button. The trigger is the chip that sits on my shoulder. Make peace with the parts of you that make you feel insecure. Build on your self-worth. Build on your confidence by accomplishing things, setting goals, reminding yourself who you are and what you're capable of, and always consistently push those limits so that you can see how truly great you are, so that that inferiority complex, so that those hangups, so that those insecurities, when they creep up and that little voice in your head says, hey, they probably think you're scary, or hey, they probably think you're poor, or hey, they probably think you don't have access to this, or you can't do that, or they probably think you're this, that, and the third. You can say, I don't give a damn what they think. What matters is what I think, and they can kiss my ass. What other people think of you is their business. And trust me, no amount of proving them right or wrong is going to change their opinion. If they want to dislike you, they will. In this situation, me and this woman would have never had one-on-one contact, because the moment she tried to walk past me, I would have simply walked in front of her, walked past the bouncer, and let him stop her. I wouldn't have even given her the grace of my voice. No access granted. But even if she had baited me into an argument, the moment I realized when I get up here, he's still going to tell us who he was talking to or not, so I don't have to engage, I would have remembered that. But then I also would have remembered she's not getting into the club. I am. So she's just trying to ruin my night because she's jealous. Walk your pretty ass into this club and ignore this heifer. But then Joan diffused the situation, or tried to de-escalate the situation, tried to pull Toni out of the situation, got between the women when the woman was closing in on Toni's space. Joan took a stand before anyone else in the way that made sense for her. When Toni made the decision to ruin everybody's night by responding to this idiot, she ruined everybody's night, but she also put herself and everyone else in danger. From that point forward, Joan had a choice to make, but it wasn't the same choice that everyone else had, yet they wanted to act like it was the same. Joan's choice was, I am a junior partner at a prestigious law firm. So not only does my network consist of the entire legal community of Los Angeles and maybe California as a whole, but also my clients as well. She is a corporate attorney, meaning she represents some of the biggest entities in this state. She cannot afford to have any question about her conduct, not to mention she is a Black woman in the legal field. They're already looking at her and weeding through everything she does and all of her conduct with a fine-tooth comb. They're waiting for her to mess up. Why would she give them an opportunity to undermine her and ruin her career? So she has way more to think about. Not to mention, her conduct is directly related to her career. If she were to get arrested for assault, especially aggravated assault or anything more serious, there goes her career, and she could even possibly be disbarred. Meaning, she would no longer be able to take care of herself. And because she is financially supporting all three of these women, their livelihood depends on her job too. And Lynn lives with her, wears her clothes, eats her food, drives her car, and lives in her house. Maya is her assistant. So if Joan gets fired, guess who's out of a job? If Joan gets fired, guess who she can't take care of? Lynn. But also, she pays Toni's car note, which they established in episode 2. If she loses her job, Toni loses her car. All 3 of these women depend on Joan being responsible. Joan's career, her livelihood, and everything she's worked for and built depends on her making sound judgment calls. And she made a judgment call not to get in a street fight over a club night, and it was the right choice. When people question Joan's choice to not get into a physical altercation, I have to look at them crazy, and then I have to assume you don't have much to lose. Because if this woman gets arrested, there goes her career. Even if she doesn't get disbarred, even if she doesn't get fired, Joan is the only Black woman in her firm at this time. It wouldn't be hard to remember her name and face if you find out she's associated with fighting in the street. I would always question her judgment. And do you think other corporate entities who need representation are going to want her on their team representing them if they're questioning her judgment? But no. These women all engage. As Toni is fighting this bald-headed heifer, all her friends come and they also try to fight. So Maya jumps in and Lynn jumps in. It's then that Joan is trying to stop the fight. William is watching with glee. And they fight. According to Toni, she got her ass beat, but all that woman was doing was just rocking her back and forth. Baby, your boat got rocked a little bit. You didn't get your ass beat. Calm down. Honestly, that woman wasn't doing anything but spinning Toni around. So really, Toni did not get beat up. She just took a couple of spins around a bald-headed ass tetherball pole. Girl, calm down. So anyway, the ladies fight. The fight is over. I guess the other women got removed because this group is still there. They don't get to go in the club, but Joan runs in, grabs some VIP things like wristbands to help make a tourniquet. Like, girl, if you was going to do anything, you could have just left or called the police or whatever. Then we realized that all the ladies are mad at Joan because she didn't jump into the fight and help them. Now, I didn't see any extra women there. Like, if there had been like a 2-on-1 dynamic happening, I could have understood them being like, Joan, I understand you're a lawyer, but you could have at least pulled this heifer off so that it was a 1-to-1 fight. I do kind of understand. But I did not judge Joan for not getting involved because your poor choices could have detrimental impact on all of us. But also this could be fatal. Fights are dangerous. The older I get, the more I'm surprised that people treat fights as if they're just this, we ran into each other. People will shoot you if they get their ass beat. People will shoot you if they win. People carry blades and all kind of chains and razor blades and all kind of shit. Fighting is just too dangerous at this point. And plus, all of us are too old. I have to get up and get on the treadmill in the morning. And if I get in a fight, my knee is going to be busted. I'm going to have to start all the way from scratch. I'm not trying to go to physical rehabilitation because I was out here fighting with these chicken heads. It's just not going to happen. I already have a hard enough time that I'm trying to wear 4-inch heels. I'm trying to twist when I walk in heels. I'm already asking my body, my joints, and my legs to do enough right now. I'm not going to also ask them to support me in a fist fight that I could have avoided. And like I said before, it's just not necessary to fight. Once you get to a certain age, once you have acquired a certain amount of things and a certain amount of influence and you've made your life stable, you have shit to lose. And proving something to somebody else or punishing someone else is just not that important. That is what law enforcement is for. If you harass me, if you bother me, if you try to fight me, you're going to jail. And I'm actually going to ask them to take it as far as it can go. Whatever issues you have pending, if you got warrants, if you got some kind of custody issue, if you got some kind of back child support, if you come around here bothering me, I'm going to say, get them on anything you can find. I don't believe in mercy because you could have left me alone. That was always an option. And because I know I don't bother people and because I leave people alone, when they do come around here bothering me, I take it to hell. Take it as far as it'll go. I'll keep your ass in court so long you will be bankrupt. Even if I lose my case, I still win. I am very petty because I don't bother people. And I believe in leaving people alone who don't bother people. Not to mention, I'm never going to get my hands dirty. As Camp County said on Atlanta, I'm not the only one with hands in this world. You leave people alone when they want to be left alone. And I always advise people to leave me alone because there's nothing that we can't work out through dialogue. I'm always happy to talk and work things out. I'm always going to be understanding, and there's always a compromise to be found. But the moment you take it to something physical, or you cross a line where I feel like my safety is threatened, I'm taking it to hell. Toni had so many options to walk away. The bouncer was right there. Walk to the bouncer. Let him handle this chicken head. You go on inside. But she had something to prove. And having that chip on her shoulder ruined everybody's night and put everybody in danger. Settle your shit internally before you go out with me. I don't have time to be dealing with your wounds. So anyway, The ladies are mad. William makes fun of Joan for not jumping into the fight. And I felt like as another attorney, he should have understood better than anyone why she made the choice she made. But William is a misogynist and it overrides every other aspect of his personality. Sometimes he's funny, but sometimes it's just like, dude, are you ever going to think of anything else? Like, ugh, he's a literal incel. And it is so annoying at times. There are times where he's hilarious, but I think sometimes they push it too far. This is one of those moments because he calls Joan a chicken. And I'm like, okay, why would you want her to risk her life and career? But not only that, he then says he likes watching women fight. And it's like, Joan, step away from that thing. And then Davis comes outside sporting a new goatee. But Davis comes outside and he raises the issue of fighting in front of white people. And I just really hate this 90s, early 2000s trope, this type of style of joke of white people do this, black people do this.
I heard there were women out here fighting, and I was hoping and praying, please do not let them be black. Well, not only are they black women, but black women I know. Don't y'all care how this makes us look? Fighting in front of white folks.
One of those hood rats was white.
And besides, why we gotta give white people something else to talk about?
Joan, I already made that argument. She ain't trying to hear it.
You know, I was thinking about this whole black folks fighting in front of white folks thing, and I almost bought into it for a minute. And then I realized, well, damn, that's how Don King makes his millions.
Toni, I know you can hear me.
Joan, keep your voice down. You know how that makes us look young in front of all these white people? What's wrong with you? Hey, Chuck, how are you?
It's so annoying and it leans into so many detrimental stereotypes about black people. And it's always this, black people are inferior, ha, ha, ha. White people are superior, ha, ha, ha. And even when it's not exactly framed that way, there is an element of that. I don't like that kind of joke. I don't think it's funny. And I also don't care for the idea that we have to be hyper aware of white people all the time and we have to cater our conduct to their vision. This is a race of people whose ancestors are responsible for slavery. Ain't shit in my conduct that's ever gonna make me worse than that. Mind you, we shouldn't have to be hyper aware of any race of people judging us because we deserve to exist in the way that we exist no matter what. We're human beings. Humans operate in all kinds of ways. We should not be held responsible to represent the whole race all the time. And trust and believe, if a white person is observing me in my space right now and their opinion is something negative based on how I'm behaving, they were gonna have that opinion anyway. There are black people all around. They're going to see what they're looking for. And whatever I do is only going to validate the opinion that already exists. So it's not my responsibility to change their perspective of me or anybody else. It's my job to exist and they can get with it or get lost. I hate the idea that we have to be hyper aware of white people all the time and we have to be good in front of the white folks. It makes me crazy. I hate this style of joke. And it's one of the reasons why I cannot watch D.L. Hughley stand up. Even though sometimes he doesn't go as hard as other times. And I know that over the years, he's kind of leaned away from it a little bit. He still does it. But because it dominated his comedy for so long, I cannot watch his stand up. I don't like that style of joke. It's always silly. Even when the white people are the butt of the joke, I just feel like, why do we have to center them at all? And several times throughout this episode, white people are centered and the white gaze is centered. There's a moment where Joan is yelling for Toni because Toni is inside her workplace and she didn't stop to say hi. And Joan is yelling at her. You shouldn't be yelling at your job anyway. But Maya goes, Joan, don't yell in front of the white people. Girl, please stop. It's so annoying. And it's never funny. It's just like, trust and believe there is nothing we could ever do that would even compare to the horrible things that the ancestors of these people have done. Stop catering your behavior to their perspective. They don't give a damn. They're going to think what they want to think. But also, you are more than enough. You are worthy. Who cares what they think? Just live. Stop censoring other people. That makes me crazy. It's the same thing when women do that about men. Don't do that in front of guys. Screw them. Who cares? I don't care. Stop curating your behavior and your image to a group of people who don't give a damn about you anyway. Because if they did, they wouldn't be always trying to take our rights away. Who cares? So anyway, and again, I'm not criticizing all white people. I'm saying stop censoring white people and the white gaze in anything we do. They ain't got shit to do with us. Toni keeps reiterating that she got her ass beat. And I don't know, this is just a very funny joke to me. She just keeps saying it and it keeps cracking me up every time. Because I'm like, okay, girl, I guess JWoww came to the club that night. You can stay, get your ass beat. You can stay, get your ass beat. So I was just like, okay, Toni. So the next day, Joan is at work talking to William and he kind of comes down on her again about not joining the fight. And she goes, why is it that you always want to see women fighting? And he's like, I just like to see women engaged in anything with aggression and a lot of energy. And again, incel, not funny. It's okay to toe the line, but they make William cross the line to where it's not funny. It's just creepy. And I'm like, Joan, don't close the door when that man comes in your office and get a security guard. Like, he just almost seems like he on the edge. So Toni stops by to say hi to Maya and give her her toe ring that she found, because the night before Maya lost her toe ring during the little scuffle. It was in Toni's cleavage. For whatever reason, before Maya finds out where the toe ring was found, it's still a toe ring, and she grabs it and she kisses it.
Maya, I found your toe ring.
Oh my gosh, girl, thank you. Donald gave this to me after our first date. Where'd you find it?
Lodged in my cleavage. Keep it.
Now, I know my feet are clean. I don't want them in my mouth, though. I might adorn them with jewelry, but that jewelry doesn't also belong in my mouth. But she said, where'd you find it? It doesn't matter where she found it. It wasn't on your person. Why would you kiss it? But also, it was on your person, specifically on your foot. Why would you kiss it? It's such a weird moment. But anyway, shortly after Toni leaves, Joan gets upset and is like, Toni, why didn't you come say hi, Toni? And that's when Maya's like, why are you yelling in front of these people? Blah, blah, blah. Later that night, Joan is at 847 eating by herself. Davis is giving her a hard time. She's basically like, my girlfriends are still giving me a hard time for not engaging in that fight. And I just don't understand why they're so upset with me. And Davis is like, you had no business fighting anyway. You're too pretty. And they kind of share like a little, so anyway, it's cute. I'm like, okay, go ahead, keep going. I think they could have something great if he were to just dial back the Rico Suave a bit. Anyway, it feels performative. So it's then that she sees Toni, Maya, and Lynn walk into the restaurant together, and none of them invited her. See, this will be the last time I dealt with any of these heifers. Maya, I'll see you at work, but it's only business. And then even then, I might transfer you to somebody else and get myself a new assistant. Baby, you don't need these people in your life. They clearly don't think about you or care about your well-being. Joan walks over and is like, you can have Lynn, but Maya, you know through me. I would have been like, you can't have Lynn either, because Lynn, I take care of your ass. Both of y'all get up. And you better hope your car's outside, because I'm stopping payment on my check, Toni. Like, I would have just been like, okay, yo, y'all can have this. Y'all can have it, sweetie. Enjoy y'all's lunch. Because for everybody that I've paid for, I'm going to be sending y'all invoices. Give me all my shit back. Maya, go find a new job. Like, I would have taken it again. Like I said, you could have left me alone. I would have taken it to hell. And so Joan takes Maya and they go eat together. And Maya is like, why don't you just talk to Toni? So Joan goes over, sends Lynn away, like Lynn is a kid. She sends Lynn to go sit with Maya so she could talk to Toni. Toni is very funny because the moment Joan sits down, Toni goes, check. I might not agree with her, but sometimes she's funny as hell. I love Toni. She's so funny because I'm dramatic like this too. I will absolutely leave if somebody shows up that I don't want to see. I will be like, oh, I just can't go on. Someone get me out of here. Toni reveals that she was feeling away even before the club. She just feels like she's losing Joan. She feels like Joan is always taking everyone's side. She doesn't stand up to Lynn when Lynn takes advantage of her. She is always choosing Maya's club and choosing Maya's side and taking up for Maya. And she just feels like she's being eclipsed when she's actually used to it just being her and Joan. And Joan is like, oh my God, she's jealous. Oh.
You're not there for me anymore. You're always taking everyone's side but mine. You chose Maya's club over my club, and then you dumped me outside of my club. You're going with Maya? And don't get me started on Lynn. You always let her slide. She smuggled illegal aliens in your car. You didn't say boo to her. You're not in first place anymore.
Toni, you're jealous? You're never jealous of anyone. People are jealous of you. You have always been a part of my life, and the thought of you not being a part of my life is just... Toni, I need you.
Joan, you're her mama, and she's competing with her other siblings. I don't want you to have a new baby. That's the energy. That's all I hear. The more Toni spoke, the more I heard, I don't want a new baby. Or as Lily said on Modern Family, kill new baby. That Lily was funny. But Toni doesn't want to compete. She's created a competition in her own head, and she's still losing. So that's not a Joan problem, sweetie. That's a you. Grow your ass up. They work it out. They have a relationship that's more akin to a daughter or a teenage daughter pushing their mother's boundaries through rebellion. This is that again. The tantrum at her house before the club, the fight at the club trying to get her to leave with her, and now this, trying to steal the friends that she was competing with. This is why clearly defined boundaries in relationships are so important, because Toni's acting out is actually putting Joan in danger. Toni's acting out is actually isolating Joan. Toni's acting out is actually creating more havoc for Joan. Joan's life will be so much more peaceful without Toni, because although Toni is concerned about her, and although Toni buys her shoes from time to time, she doesn't really benefit from having Toni in her corner, and Toni's presence is actually causing detriment to Joan. And Joan can buy her own shoes. And something tells me she could make much better friends. She's a very likable person. She's clearly a very giving, a very loyal, a very understanding person. So to treat her like that, no matter how you feel, is not okay. And while I understood where Toni was coming from, there's a difference between understanding and condoning. I understand where Toni's coming from because from her perspective, that makes sense. That's how she processes information. That's how she reacts to information. And that's how she reacts to the world around her. It makes sense for Toni, but Toni is still wrong as the day is long. You don't treat your friends like that. And clearly, if Joan is struggling to create boundaries with her friends, what makes you think that she's going to be in a fistfight? This woman couldn't even confront you when you brought her ex-boyfriend to her house for her birthday. This woman couldn't confront Lynn when she put her shoes on her pillow. This woman couldn't confront Lynn when she drove her car across state lines to smuggle in people into America, committing crimes. What makes you think a woman who struggles with verbal confrontation, where she is in the right, would be able to fist fight other people? I feel like this is just you having weird expectations of someone. She's already shown you who she was. I would have assumed Joan wouldn't fight even if she weren't a lawyer. That's just not who she is. But what she did do was show up and try to diffuse, try to de-escalate. She tried to keep you guys separate, and she even tried to pull Toni away. She did everything that was in her wheelhouse to do. We have to recognize people for who they are, not who we want them to be. And to be fair, if you know you don't have substantial backup, don't go picking a fight with a group of girls. Because Toni absolutely should have just walked away. I can support you all day long, but the moment you bring me to a fork in the road where I have to choose you or me, I'm choosing me every time. My safety, my well-being is going to come first, always. And you can cry about it or not. I do not care. If you ask me to engage in a group fight outside of a club and that could be the end of my career, you're going to be doing that alone. Now, what Joan did was the right thing to do. Tried to de-escalate, tried to diffuse, tried to get her to walk away. She gave everything she had to try to work that out. Toni refused, and it was Toni's consequences to bear. Maya and Lynn don't have the same choices to make. They keep acting like Joan had the same decisions to make. She didn't. All their options were the same, the decisions were not. Joan's options were I can fight or not. But Joan's decision was all encompassing. If I fight, I could lose my career. That can make me lose my house. That can mean all of my friends suffer. That can mean I suffer. I might not be able to get another job. She had all of these decisions to make within this one option. She's smart to walk away. Maya getting in a fight just means she might have to find another assistant job. Lynn getting in a fight doesn't mean anything other than getting arrested. She's not representative of any other entity. She doesn't have a network that depends on her conduct. She doesn't have any of those things to worry about. She has the freedom to make callous choices. So she could. But anyway, all in all, I don't think Joan was wrong for not fighting. I thought Joan was great in stepping up and trying to avoid the conflict, even trying to resolve the conflict when it was getting heated and escalated. She gave all she had. The other women were being extremely unfair to her. And I feel like they wanted her to behave like them, but her situation is different and she doesn't want their situation. And I don't blame her. Your bad decisions are not her mess to clean up. Girlfriend. I want to take a second to welcome new members. Thank y'all so much for joining the membership on this channel, as well as the Patreon membership. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you're enjoying the content. Being that you are members and you are paying for exclusive content as well as perks, you are more than welcome to suggest episodes to take a deeper look at, movies for me to recap for the member side, or even movies for me to recap for Patreon exclusively or YouTube exclusively. Feel free to let me know. You're welcome to email me at hellosharion@gmail.com and let me know it's for a Chats and Chill member request. But I want to welcome new members. For the member side on YouTube, welcome to the Mel Experience and to Rainbow Reese. Thank y'all so much for becoming members. And for my Patreon members, welcome to Katie KLM, Quita Wesley, and Alexis Oliver. Thank y'all so much. I hope you're enjoying the content. Now let's get back to the video. This episode was yet another example of Toni seeing Joan as a mother and acting out when she feels like she has to compete for her space and time. And if they don't get a handle on that, it's going to get out of hand. I happen to have already seen the series, so I know it does get out of hand. But that's a story for another day. What are your thoughts on this situation? Let me know in the comment section below. That's all I have for y'all today. Patreon, y'all get the live watch, react, and commentary. This episode spawned so many memories, but also a whole lot of commentary because they had me heated. But at the end of the day, you're almost 30 years old. You ain't got no business fighting outside the club or anywhere for that matter. Violence is necessary sometimes, but more often than not, it's not. So that's all I have. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will see y'all next time.